Good afternoon. How are you all doing today? I'm happy this session is in the afternoon because now you're all well fed and I hope you don't get to sleep. So I know I have exactly 15 minutes. So let me try and make sure that I keep to the 15 minutes. So when you all walk to the hotel right now, and there's a kind of question we keep on asking. I mean, Mbuga is talking about the fact that people should keep sharing data. And today I want to speak about the new kind of cyber attacks that are going to happen, where we should start looking, and let's even interrogate some of the details to see where we should start tightening our belts. Now, if we are going to start having data sharing, how sure are we that the data you are sharing with your colleague next to you is actually safe? How many techies are in the room? CIOs? How many of you share APIs? Hey, that is the point that most of you are putting your hands down. Let's be honest. How many of you have APIs to share or you receive? Okay. So you're the receiving end. Great. This is where we should now start getting worried because my focus on today is how we are going to have a lot of suffering with the different kinds of ways attacks are happening. AI-driven threats are becoming a thing. Nation-state actors are everywhere. So we also what happened recently where they said there was an alleged breach. You know, I'm using alleged. I don't want to say it was breached. Alleged breach that happened to BRS. And these people claim that the information was actually publicly available. So how did they actually get that publicly available? Information is moving out. The data is moving everywhere. If you look for me outside, I'll show you. And the latest data I found last night of a system in Kenya, you put an ID number, you fetch almost every record about that person. Why? Information sharing using what? APIs. So nation-state actors are here. As we speak right now, they might be among us. When I said nation-state actors are people who get paid. There's a time where somebody wanted to hack the New York Stock Exchange. Guess what they did? They sent a student to go to school for 4 years in a university. I'll not mention which country, but you can guess. And he actually studied and got a job inside the company and actually became an employee. So in that way, it was easy for him to now that you're inside, you know what happens. You know how to be able to actually maneuver the network. Half the job was done, but they spent 4 years of being able to plan for that. We're looking at the fact that there's IoT right now. People are doing DDoS attacks right now with IoT devices. If you go to a website called shodan.io, I'm sure most of you know it, shodan.io, register a free account. Click on the IoT part of things and just explore how many IoT devices, and just put at the end of that, whichever you're exploring, country, :KE. You'll see the number of houses that are actually publicly available. You can put off lights in people's houses. You can turn off temperatures. You can increase the heat in some of the hospitals in Kenya. I will not mention which one. But you basically can actually use that as an attack vector because logging into them, my good friend Eric Mutenga here the other day, we're joking around with this IoT. He logged into somebody's Google, how do you call it? What's it called? Chrome, the device on the TV, and started changing the person's Netflix, how do you call it, the videos. Ask him, he's one here. Just raise your hand, Eric, so that you guys know who he is. He was able to control that. Is it China, Korea, Japan? He was able to do that. So IoT is going to happen everywhere. There's remote work, and people are outsourcing most of this work to other people. Some of you are in Kenya working for U.S. companies. I used to work for a company that was in Ukraine, and I was working from here. I was the only one in Africa. And they trust me that everything that is on my laptop is what? It's safe. So, and then there's more endpoints that are coming in. Now that we are automating and we're looking at assets that are being brought in, it's going to happen. Now, this is where I try to bring in something called a national back bounty program. And I think it would be a game changer to a place like Kenya, because out of all of you here, where's Safaricom here? Safcom? No? Safaricom is the only company in Kenya that has a back bounty program. Because I was there, we launched it. That was about, I think, 2017, where hackers legally get paid for hacking Safaricom. so that they don't get to just peel off. Because you know how, let me tell you about Kenyan hackers. You know that young kid who is about 21, 22 or 15 years old, all he wants to do is go on Twitter and say, I have hacked this person. I think if all of us was to do that, that entire row, from there, 1, 2, 3, none of them should be seated there. Because if these guys should start releasing data or details of the companies they've hacked in Kenya, I think majority of you are here. Maybe you should see them and ask them if you're part of the list. They will tell you. So we need to start thinking of a national bug bounty program, but also on the government side of things. The government system, there's only so many people that a government can hire as cybersecurity engineers. Are we together? Hello? So why don't we extend this to the public where they can legally penetrate into these systems, they can legally submit bugs, and why don't you organizations have a bug bounty program? It's not that hard. You basically can use a third party like Backcrowd or HackerOne and the likes, contract them. They can basically help you to set it up. So they know, they handle payments, they handle the level of exposure that you have. They do this full time. They understand what kind of bugs. So if I find a personal identifiable information about you, you don't have to start thinking, oh my God, we've been hacked. How much will that cost? Because right now, majority of the guys are asking for almost millions for them to be paid not to release. There's a bank in Kenya. I tried to report it back to them. Somebody discovered that you can over-withdraw from your account. And that bank is probably here. But do you know why I can't report to them? The person who is in charge at the top has an ego. So I can't go to them and tell them, somebody wants to talk to you, he's scared, but he wants to use me as a proxy to tell you that you have been compromised. Some companies in Kenya, though, they've listened, they've been able to accept us being able to tell them bugs that we have found, and it's been a very nice conversation. And we asked for NDAs and be able to share. So we need to look at that. So when a country has something like that, or even a company has something like that, you have a lower cost versus breaches. And other countries like Singapore, EU, they have such models to be paying people. Where this threat intelligence, which we're going to be discussing in the next session, is to look at dark web monitoring. If any of you have details about your company, I can search for you in a dark web system that we have. In less than, let's say 10 seconds, it will show me all the passwords that have leaked from your company. But it shows you whose account. Because there's something called a password stealer, and those password stealers they are ruthless. They are actually stealing information from you. They're able to fetch information from your browser. They're able to fetch for information from you when you're typing your passwords, and they leak them on the dark web. Now, we don't even have to go to dark web. I call Telegram the new dark web, the mini dark web. Because I have a Telegram group I can show you. That Telegram group shows me, if you put, let's say, your company, you just put /s, type your company name or any email address. It will search, the bot actually search the database and spills whatever password it is. Can I show one of you so that you can believe me? Because I think when I'm saying this, most people can't believe me. Look at this. So first of all, they have two botnets. The first one, something like this. So this person put this company name. It shows you what? All the passwords that have ever been breached on the website. It's a closed room place. So I will not share the details yet. And another one, which is there. But if I go to request your company, they will spill everything to me, which is not a good thing. So there's another one, which, so we have a way of being able to fetch the data from behind, from the back end. This one, on the other hand, shows you all the dumps they've been receiving for every day. They keep updating. So you can see this is 85 MB. All the FortiGate accounts that have been compromised, 1.5 gigabytes zipped is here. And where is it? Not a dark web, not a deep web. It's right on what? Telegram. So it's becoming very easily accessible for people to get access to this information. If we have, how many bankers are here? Great. How many times have you ever shared how somebody potentially almost compromised your systems? Never. We don't share information. Just as much we don't share data, we never share how we have been compromised. Yet the way a bank has been compromised is exactly the same modus operandi the hackers will use to compromise the next bank. Then now we start appearing on news. If we just can't have a centralized place of sharing such information, it will make our lives easier. I know all the hospitals are in one group. Yesterday, I kid you not, somebody can verify this. Last night, somebody DM'd me on Instagram. Hi, Bright, I have a hack we need to do. And I'm like, okay, me? I'm like, are you sure it's me? It's like, yeah. This is the second time this is happening to me. The first time, they were targeting APSA, and I got every information. I called APSA, that was fixed. This time, the guy mentioned a SACO. I don't know if they're here, but let me keep quiet for now because I'm still investigating. So they put me on a WhatsApp call, said, we have this SACO we need to hack, but we have a guy in there. You just create the malware, deploy with the guy, we get access. He will tell us which bank accounts we can actually move money from. So I'm like, okay, do they have a portal? I pretended I don't know what SACOs do. Do they have a portal? Could you give me what kind of core banking system they use? Like, you know what? Let's talk tomorrow, which is today. So we're going to talk today. That he can give me all the details. Like, you know what? And I say, yeah, creating the malware is the easier part. Moving the money is the difficult part. They're like, no. We have a crypto account. In fact, you can create one, then you give us the account we share. I said, sour. Of course, I know I'm not going to do it, but I also need information to understand what is the new hacking method they do, because if I don't do it, they'll find another person. So I'm going to help this SACO. It's a very big SACO, I think top 3 or top 4. And I know they're about to hit them hard. So today, let me get more information, and I will share in the next conference how it went. So this kind of information sharing, and you see, if they use that method and they've been able to know what kind of float they're supposed to penetrate, what kind of request they're going to push an API attack on or something like that, they're going to do the same thing to all the other SACOs. Because, how many employees do they have? How many employees do you have in your company? Many. You can't trust every single person. That's why we need to put some stopgaps. Automated kind of a thing. We have AI-driven SIMs, SOARs, MDR, XDR. They are supposed to be automatically. If you get compromised right now, as you're seated here, you've been texted, I think we have been hacked. How long will it take for you to call everybody? Anyone? Yes. How long will it take to call everybody you need to call to make sure that that breach has been contained? To take long. Approximately how many hours? If you can find them on call, that is. So 4 hours. So we can't keep on trying to fight attacks by using human means. This is where security orchestration, automation, and response tools comes in. That you have a process flow that if you detect an attack is happening, an unusual request is happening, you have seen a traffic that is not making sense, and your SIM can pick that up, let the SOAR go block IP, remove that machine from the network, automate some of those processes, because, guys, we cannot do things manual anymore. And some SIMs, even open source, do have some of those SOAR implementations. So we need to start looking at those. So we need to start moving from compliance to resilience. We need to invest in breaches. I know most of you don't want to pay anything to these young boys. Pay them, compensate them. Some of them don't need a lot of money just to disclose a breach to you. And you can set it. You can make a set target saying, this is the only amount we can afford in case you find a breach. And we need to look at the cybersecurity return on investment. Reputation plus business continuity. If you are running a bank right now, or a critical system, a hospital, and the ICU machines go down, what are you going to do? Their lives at stake, right? If that data leaks can go somewhere, you are going to be held liable for such details. So we need to start, even insurance. Insurance data has become very expensive these days. So we need to start looking at the way of understanding the reputation and the business continuity part of things. Some of you have business continuity plans, but you've never, ever implemented it. Am I lying? Why? Because you've never been attacked yet. So you don't know when to actually use that business continuity plan. COVID helped a little bit, but we still have a lot of shelved plans out there. And of course, have case study of what inactions and proactive spending. My good friend Kevin Kanye in the yellow shirt will tell you expense in depth. And I think the last time we had a CIO event, I was actively talking about expense in depth. What do you need to buy? What is important to buy? Do you need to buy it? What exactly do you need to spend on? What are the priorities you need to take into consideration to know that I need X amount of devices or systems or even people to employ for various elements? Sometimes we buy too many systems. I know a company, they pay engineers 50,000 Kenya shillings, but they buy firewall for 3 million, 4 million. And the firewall is useless for that engineer. Do you know why? Admin, username admin, password admin. You go to Shodan right now, type the word Cisco and put country what? KE. You will see the number of Cisco devices or Fortinet or SMB services or other normal, network devices that have their default credentials. It will show you, by the way. And if you don't know the commands, Google the commands. It will actually give you the right steps. If you want some of them, I have them. I'll show you right after this. Because we are leaving things by default, and it's a very easy thing to compromise. So as I get to finish, red team versus blue teaming, zero trust principles, you all understand that, and regular breach simulation. How many of you have a firewall at office? Does it work? Hope so. That's it. That's it. You've answered my question. You hope so that your firewall actually works. If you don't do breach simulations, I create malwares for fun. If you don't test the malwares I create or we create or try to see if your DNS solutions are working, then it's pointless. So breach simulation is something we like to focus on a lot to see if what you have implemented actually works. Not pen testing. Hello. They're two different things. Pen testing and breach simulations are similar, but very different. So we need to start looking at that. So national strategies, collaborations between people, policy should be implemented. Cyber resilience should go from the board level because there's too many conversations with techies. And if you take to the board, what do they tell you? Let's look at this in a few years. We've not been breached yet. There's nothing. There's one CEO until I showed him a portal that I have and the password that was leaking in 5 databases. Guess what? He was the only one. Only the CEO's password. Yet he's the one person in the office who has refused two-step verification. So when we logged in, it actually worked. That was how he was able to do that. So if you don't act now, you'll be what? Somebody will force you to act. That's all I want to say today, and thank you very much.